easy things that a lot of athletes are leaving on the table is like speaking money, right? But the key to speaking is like we all have a message, we all have a story. The key to speaking is how do you get those dang engagements? Where do you get those engagements? And so a lot of athletes have a great story. They've got triumph, tragedy. They've got all of that, but they don't know how to market themselves appropriately to get people to say, I want you to come talk to my group. I want you to come talk to my company. Or I want you to do this. So that's one thing. The other thing is that athletes don't typically go into publishing or production early enough, right? So selling your knowledge, monetizing your knowledge, whether it's through your books, through podcasts, and truly monetizing that like you would as a free agent, right? You would sell airtime on your show. And those kinds of things that I think athletes have a huge opportunity to do that a lot of them are doing now. Maybe 10 years ago, they weren't doing that. But a lot of people have podcasts now, but they're not getting paid for their podcasts. Got off Shark Tank. The show aired on July 6, 2021. Thousands of orders. So let me tell y'all how this feels when you got thousands of orders coming through Shopify. It's like, if you have the sound turned on, it's like ding, 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 ding. It's like a cash register just all night. Wow. All night, right? So I was like, oh, this is so good. Woke up the next day.
What?
Got a call from my co-packer, the people who mix your drinks and sell your, put your things on the production line, that the bottles, because it was a liquid at that time, the bottles were sitting in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Two things you have to do when you're kind of afraid to leap into stuff. Number one, say yes before you can get scared.
Say no.
Yeah, before you can say no. Wait a minute, did I say yes? I didn't mean to say yes. I didn't mean that. Yes.
No.
You can't get it. So say yes more. Okay. And then the other thing is ask yourself why you care so much about what people think. Literally. What are you scared of? You're scared of, most people are afraid of criticism. They don't like the feeling of criticism. But again, you're too invested in their criticism, right? Yeah, their opinion of you. So you have to, Dr. Wayne Dyer said, you have to divest, stop being so invested in the opinions of other people. Nothing is promised. Time is not promised. So you better get out there and do your thing.
Yeah,
and right. It really catapulted me to like, what are all the things I want to do? What are all the things I'm good at? And people would be like, oh, I see you're always doing this. Oh, girl, you get somewhere and sit down. You got blah, blah, blah. And I remember thinking, I'm not listening to y'all at all because I'm the girl whose mother died a day after she left the country. Yeah. So y'all can say what y'all want to say about sticking to one thing and doing this and only doing this. I've never listened to that because I don't know how much time I have. So I go after everything. If it comes into my head, I'm like, I'm going to do something with this. Austin's a great place for the WNBA because we are the only city on the list of applicants that has a ready-made audience of women's basketball. Like, meaning they're currently already watching. Yes. A lot of these other cities are saying we can get people there, and maybe they can. Maybe they can pull people out of the air and get them to come there. Sure. But we are the only city that actually has a community that's watching women's basketball right now.
Yeah, watching UT.
That's right. Yep. So there are other cities that are wonderful. They're amazing. They have great corporate sponsorships. That's part of what needs to happen. But ultimately, you need cheeks in the seats. Yeah. And we have those. So that's why I think Austin is the most ready.
Yeah, get in the zone.
The champ is here. The champ is here.
There you go.
The champ is here. The champ is here.
Thank you, E.
The champ is here.
Yeah, the champ is here.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Fran Harris on the show. What's up, you guys? Welcome to Stats to Assets. Today's going to be a great talk.
Yes, it is.
A talk that I have wanted to have for a long time with the person that I really admire. And I get to see them in action and talk to them and just be around them. Fran Harris, welcome to Stats to Assets.
Fran Harris, thank you. Ernie, appreciate it. Great to be here.
The champ is here. Fran, who are you? Like, who are you? I know you, but who are you for real? But people don't know who you are.
Oh, man. The first thing that comes to mind is that I am a sister. That's the first thing. That's the thing I've been the longest, is my parents' child and a sister. And that's a role that I really love, probably more than anything, more than business, more than athletics. I love my family. We're funny together, and I'm fortunate that I get to do business and life with those guys. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some accolades that I found. Tell me if I have anything wrong and whatever I forget. Okay, so Dallas, Texas born.
Yes.
Born and raised, basketball all-stater for South Oak Cliff High School. IUL state champion. How many? One state championship?
First year I played basketball, I was a 10th grader. This is my first time playing organized basketball. We went to state. We were 40-0, so didn't lose a game. Next year we lost a regional. I think we lost maybe 2 games that season. And then my senior season, I don't know if we lost a game, but we lost by 1 point in state to my eventual college teammate, Wnba in Victoria.
Okay. Oh, yo.
So I got 1 state championship and 2 trips to state in 3 years.
Nice. Okay, cool. Olympic alternate?
You had to bring that up, huh?
I did. I know you don't like it. What age was that? Because it's important, though. What age was that?
I was 20. It was in 88, so I was 23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that like was it a 25 and under team? Or
no,
what?
that was the Olympic team.
The Olympic team.
The Olympic team.
See, this is important.
This is very important. Like, you are 1 step from going to the Olympics.
Okay. Definitely got to talk about that. University of Texas alum, 1986-87 championship team.
85-86.
85-86.
Yeah.
Oh, man. 85-86, but the only championship in the Frank Irwin Center.
Still
to
this day.
The women's team has the only championship.
Undefeated, too.
Undefeated. How many games was that?
34-0.
Woo! Girl, I couldn't imagine. WNBA won championship with Houston Comets.
1 time. 97.
How many years did you play with Houston?
I played 1 season with Houston in 97, and then I asked for a trade to go play in Utah, and we didn't win a championship in Utah.
Okay. So, college girls basketball coach, HGTV host. I found this Fran Harris advice hotline. Life coach, ABC's Good Morning America talk show host. And if I have it right, the number 1 candidate out of about 15,000 people.
I was a runner-up for that.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Good Morning Texas show host. Who's on there? Founder of Electra Beverages, Shark Tank participant.
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk about how that went down.
Yeah.
ESPN sports announcer, radio and TV. I saw this clip that said, it was an older clip, but at that time it said generated over 50 million in television publicity. I don't know what that means, but it's a big number.
That means that if you had to pay for the amount of exposure that I got on television, it would have cost you about $50 million.
Dang.
Yeah.
And I know that has increased.
Yeah, definitely.
Today.
Definitely,
so, yeah. Probably well over 100 now.
Definitely.
Author, speaker, entrepreneur, superwoman. The champ is in the building. Anything pivotal I missed?
No, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it if you did, but those are the main things, just been an entrepreneur most of my life and love business, love being out front in terms of trends and those kinds of things. So let's talk about some of that stuff too.
Yeah. How do you go from very successful athlete to entrepreneur? Like, have you always had that entrepreneur mindset? How did you get into that?
So I was 9 years old, and like most kids when they're younger, they want to do one thing 1 week, and then 2 weeks later they're into something else. So I was like soccer, softball, skating, whatever. And then I decided I wanted to sing in the choir at my church. So I go to my mom, and I'm like, Mama, I want to sing in the choir at church, and then the robe costs $75. She was like, okay, with softball the other day, it was this. So you're going to have to get the money, find the money yourself. You're going to figure out how to make the money yourself. And I was like, make the money myself? How am I going to make money, $75? Like, I'd never seen that much money in my hand unless it was my birthday. So my mom's like, oh, do what you want. So I figured they were selling like the ice cream truck. You remember the ice cream truck in your neighborhood? They would sell cookies. Now then I said, I'm going to sell snow cones. Okay. So I said, here's a list of things I need. I need ice. I need cups, and I need flavors, cooler. That's what we need. So we got all those things. I asked my mother to advance me that money. We go get the stuff. We set up the stand. Yell outside, "Hey, Kool-Aid!" like they used to do in the old days. Here's what we got, and people started buying 25 cents for like one flavor, 50 cents or whatever. So that was like May. So right after school was over, and then we go back to school in August or September, and I had sold like $1,500 worth of snow cones.
What?
And I always tell people, like, I wanted to sing in the choir at church, and I had the mother who wouldn't give me money for Jesus. Like, that's who my mama was. I ain't giving you money. I don't care if it's for Jesus. You ain't getting this. You're going to have to work for it. But that taught me that, number one, I didn't have to rely on someone else for my livelihood, right? Because when you're a kid, especially back then, maybe not now, I mean, if you had money, it was because your parents gave you money, unless you had a paper route or you were cutting grass and that kind of stuff. So I learned to rely on myself and to figure out that everything I needed inside me, like if there was a problem that was happening out here, that was economically related, I could solve it. I could figure out how to make money. And that was a huge start to my entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah. How old were you then? Again?
9.
That's crazy. I remember having a paper route too.
You did?
I don't know how much money I made, but that's really cool.
But it was early in the morning, I'm sure, when you had to get up.
Oh yeah, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Those the stack of papers hit the door, and my mom would be like, "Come on, roll them up, put them in the bag." And that was cool.
How long did that last, by the way?
I don't know. Not long.
Not long.
Probably
'Cause 3 o'clock in
one
the morning.
summer. Yeah, I wasn't getting up. What's the money that you think athletes are leaving on the table, whether they're current athletes or retired like me?
Yeah.
I played for 8 years, and I just played. I didn't really use my expertise or my brand.
Yeah, for sure. One of the easy things that a lot of athletes are leaving on the table is like speaking money, right? But the key to speaking is, like, we all have a message, we all have a story. The key to speaking is, how do you get those dang engagements? Where do you get those engagements? And so a lot of athletes have a great story. They've got triumph, tragedy. They've got all of that, but they don't know how to market themselves appropriately to get people to say, I want you to come talk to my group. I want you to come talk to my company. Or I want you to do this. So that's one thing. The other thing is that athletes don't typically go into publishing or production early enough, right? So selling your knowledge, monetizing your knowledge, whether it's through your books, through podcasts, and truly monetizing that like you would as a free agent, right? You would sell airtime on your show and those kinds of things that I think athletes have a huge opportunity to do that a lot of them are doing now. Maybe 10 years ago, they weren't doing that. But a lot of people have podcasts now, but they're not getting paid for their podcast.
Yes.
They don't know how to make their podcast an actual show. And then they don't know how to package it and go and say, hey, this is what I have. I do something that's going to deliver something to a specific audience that you want. I interview athletes who, have been successful on the court and off the court, on the field, off the field. And here's what's in it. We're delivering 100,000 impressions every week. These are the people who are watching it. Talk to people from a standpoint of, as an advertiser, as a producer who has inventory on their show to sell to people who might want to be advertisers.
So selling for ads. What about sponsorships? How do those come into into play for podcasters?
Yeah, so it's all about the eyeballs that you're getting. It's all about the audience that you're delivering. So like a lot of people will start talking about their show and like, it's really good, and an advertiser or a sponsor is just like, yeah, but how many people are watching, right? How many people are watching? What are the demographics of those people who are watching? Because those are the people that I want to get in front of, right? And then so it's like, okay, how do you figure out what that amount needs to be? So let's say if I'm doing a show every week and 200,000 people are watching, I would deliver some fraction of that 200,000. So maybe 5 cents an impression or $1 an impression, depending on so you can come up with your numbers when you start to talk to partners and advertisers. But once you get somebody, and here's the thing, let me cut myself off. Once you get a sponsor, nobody has to know what that sponsor paid to be on your show. Okay. Because all other sponsors want to see is that somebody has taken the leap of faith to be on your show.
Got it. So they're gonna follow.
So they're gonna follow. Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Okay. They don't want to miss out. So they're like, oh, I need to be on this show because that brand is on there. Then I need to be on there too.
That's interesting. I see a lot of NBA guys are having podcasts, and I don't know if you've seen it. I saw a clip of Sue Bird and her partner Megan.
Yeah, Megan.
I don't know if that was their podcast or just some show they were on. Yeah. But I'm like, oh, I love it. I love to see more female athletes and athletes in general. Getting into the podcasting. So that's really cool. How do you approach winning as an athlete?
Now,
Yeah.
in life,
Well, I'm gonna ask that next.
Okay,
But
okay.
just when you were an athlete, how did you approach winning, and trying to find success for yourself?
so because we were playing in a very successful program where winning was kind of anticipated, expected, that we would be coming in first or second, whatever, it becomes a part of like who you are, your inner culture. There's a culture that's on your team, and then there's the culture that you have within yourself. And so I'll even go back to days when we would be running sprints. And there were some days I would be a winner, and some days I wasn't going to be a winner. I didn't feel like being a winner, right? We got 31 seconds to get back from the suicides, and some days I was not going to be a winner. But I started to realize that I had the power in me to do that, right? Like there were different days where I was like, I'm just killing these suicides. And then there were days I just mentally did not feel like doing it. And there was nothing wrong. I just made a decision I was not going to win. And a lot of people think, this is something like it's internal, it's whatever, it's some people just don't have. It's like, no, I made a conscious decision when I did make suicides.
Yeah.
And when you realize you have the power to either win or lose, and if you decide, you like the feeling of winning, if you like the rewards of winning, then you do what it takes to do that. And so for me, it became a mind game with me as to, I wasn't going to miss suicides. Like my leadership was more important than me coming in last or not coming in, running with the guards. Like sometimes you run with the post players if you were a post player. And I was like, no, I'm going to run with the guards.
Yeah.
Because that brought my expectations for myself a lot higher. So winning became a thing for me, probably a conscious thing in life when I was a sophomore in college.
When you were playing, were you trying to, everything was winnable? Like it could be
Right.
just this possession or this drill, not just the game. But like for me, I tried to start really focus on what we were doing and do my job and win and help my team win. And then that kind of spiraled into winning games and being much more successful with the team.
I have a good friend of mine, Clarissa Davis Reitzel, who also played at Texas. I remember her telling the story when she came on her recruiting visit at Texas, and we had like a picnic or something at Coach's house, and then we went out and like at a park or whatever, and she said she remembers watching us do whatever we were doing, hack-a-sack, spades or whatever. She said, and it was so competitive, and she was like, wow, like I don't know what to do with this. Like it didn't matter what we were playing. There had to be a winner and there had to be a loser, right? Somebody got to lose. Somebody got to lose. Like it ain't about the winning. Like somebody got to lose today.
Yeah.
And I remember her saying that was the culture. She walked into a culture where it was like, you get your butt out here and you compete. If we playing spades, if we playing checkers, everything was a competition.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like you take that same mindset to entrepreneurship and business in your career. Would you say that answer is different as far as like what's your mindset and approach to your career and recreating yourself, and just continuing to build a career for yourself? Because every time I see you, you're doing some new business project and it's awesome. And then doing the research on you, you've had some very different careers and opportunities, and they all are cool. And I want to know, like, what's your approach to that, even if they're new?
Yeah. My thing coming out of college, well, let me just say this. My mother died when I was 16 years old. So I was a junior in high school. It was the summer before my senior year. And I remember, and it was unexpected. So my mother wasn't sick. I didn't have time to prepare for it. Like, she took me to the airport. I went to Mexico. The next day she died. So I'm out of the country. My mother died. So I remember, I don't think I put it into the words that I put them into when I became an adult, but I do remember thinking how devastating that was and how I hadn't gotten a chance to prepare for it, and nothing is promised. Time is not promised, so you better get out there and do your thing.
Yeah,
and
right.
It really catapulted me to like, what are all the things I want to do? What are all the things I'm good at? And people would be like, oh, I see you're always doing this. Oh, girl, you get somewhere and sit down. You got blah, blah, blah. And I remember thinking, I'm not listening to y'all at all, because I'm the girl whose mother died a day after she left the country.
Yeah.
So y'all can say what y'all want to say about sticking to one thing and doing this and only doing this. I've never listened to that because I don't know how much time I have. So I go after everything. If it comes into my head, I'm like, I'm going to do something with this. As a matter of fact, In 2007, I launched a magazine called Collegepreneur.
Okay.
So it was the first magazine ever for college entrepreneurs. And I remember, like, it was extremely expensive. In 2007, I mean, we can have Amazon print our magazines now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But literally, I had to pay for editor, content, printing, shipping. Like, it was like 30, 40, 50 grand.
Wow.
Right? And I remember doing that, and it felt like it was ahead of its time. Right? And it was, because I do stuff like that. Even though nobody's done it, like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
So I did the magazine. I'm looking at it, I'm laughing about that I did it, because for me, it was kind of like pitching your fork in the sand with your IP. Like, even though it was ahead of its time, it's going to come back around. Like, there's going to be a time, whether I print them or not, that building something for college entrepreneurs is never going to not be in style. So go do the thing. Like, I got my magazines, like, I had hundreds of magazines in my garage, and I just laughed. I got some out last week, and I put 4 of them, and I took a picture of it, and I was like, this was a cool thing that I did. And now I get to resurrect that thing. And what I did back then was just use it to catapult me to speaking engagements. So I just told people, the founder of Collegepreneur, but all these colleges started inviting me to speak.
Really? Dope.
Yeah, on entrepreneurship, right? Because she's the founder of So there's always something I'm thinking about it. It's not exactly what you see. It may be partly that, but there's something behind it, and the reason that I launch, ideas all the time.
When did you start speaking?
I started speaking in church when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. Like,
okay.
Jesus wept. They were like, that baby good. That baby gonna be a speaker. That
Got
baby
some good feedback. Make it keep talking up that slow.
Oh my God! But I'm laughing, but it's true. My pastor's wife. Shout out to Alma Pryor, Sister Alma Pryor, Mama Jewel. Shout out to her, who put me on all the programs. But that gave me confidence to stand before people and an audience on a mic and talk. And so that started in church when I was, 7, 8, 9 years old. And I just kept doing it. And then I remember when my first real job after I got cut from the Olympic team, I was working for Procter & Gamble, and I was a salesperson.
Okay.
They came recruited me on UT's campus. And then I was talking a lot because I was selling Crest toothpaste and Scope, and that kind of thing. And then they started putting me in front of audiences in Procter & Gamble. I was like, wait a minute, like, I'm getting paid for this. And that's when I realized this could be a whole thing, a whole, $100 million industry already. But I started to get really paid good money as a speaker then.
Would you say you are more of an extroverted natural person, or introverted, or in the middle?
Yeah, I'm definitely extroverted.
Yeah.
But I also enjoy alone time. Like I'm the person who, like, for Thanksgiving, I ain't going nowhere. Somebody tried to invite me to someplace today. Come over to the house. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm shutting it down.
Yeah.
People leaving town, and I already got my plans, my meals that are going to be delivered, and it's just going to be me. So I'm that extroverted person who, like, some people are extroverts and they cannot be alone. I actually enjoy being by myself.
Yeah. You recharge like
that.
I
really do. Yeah.
What advice would you give introverts, or more just people that they want to get into entrepreneurship? They have these goals and passions, but they're not putting themselves out there. They're scared to.
Yeah.
They're not speaking about, hey, I do X, Y, and Z proudly.
Yeah.
How do you get over that?
That is a great question, because to this day, I still do things that I think other people are scared to do. So I'm doing it for them.
Yeah.
I really am.
Okay.
So, for instance, a few years ago, I did, at the Las Vegas Aces alumni weekend, I sang the national anthem in front of 10,000 people. Like, I didn't need to do that, but I just threw it out there. Somebody said, oh, Fran can sing. Your Fran can sing. I said, really? So Jennifer AZ called me. She said, hey, Fran, would you be willing to sing the national anthem at the alum thing? I was like, yeah. I said it before I got scared to say it.
Just yes,
right? I just said yes. So that's what I would say to people who are, get kind of nervous or whatever. Like, just say yes. Just say yes, and then just do it. Like, I don't care well, that's the other thing about me. Like, I legit don't care what people are thinking.
Okay.
So 2 things you have to do when you're kind of afraid to leap into stuff. Number 1, say yes before you can get scared.
Say no.
Yeah, to the point you say no. Wait a minute, did I
Okay.
say yes? I didn't mean to say yes. I didn't mean that. Yes.
No.
You can't get it. So say yes more.
Okay.
And then the other thing is ask yourself why you care so much about what people think. Literally. What are you scared of? You're scared of, I mean, most people are afraid of criticism. They don't like the feeling of criticism. But again, you're too invested in their criticism,
Yeah,
right?
opinion or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
their opinion of you. So you have to, Dr. Wayne Dyer said, you have to divest, stop being so invested in the opinions of other people.
Divest.
Yeah, you got to divest from other people's
That's
opinion.
nice.
And I really, that's who I am. It's like, I mean, whatever people saying, it ain't about me anyway. I mean, literally, like, oh, there were some people who were like, oh, the Fran sang the national anthem. I mean, if that's what you call it, whatever. I'm just like, guess what? Guess who sang in front of 10,000 people? Guess who got other invitations to sing after, like, you know what I mean?
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Saying yes and putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
whether it goes well or not.
Right.
And you're setting yourself up for more opportunities.
You are. You absolutely are, because there's going to be somebody who says, I didn't know you could, I didn't know you were a speaker. I didn't know you were an artist. I didn't know. And people start putting you on. They start inviting you to stuff. And then, you start putting that on your website, adding it to your bio.
Yeah.
Like I just started the character that I do, Sister Roni. You know Sister Roni, baby.
Sister Roni. Come on in here, baby.
I started her literally. I said something to my niece, who's probably your age, and she kind of looked at me like that, and then I was like, because we heard this person, and so then I just started doing it, and everybody who's been in church or at school or whatever has that one teacher, that one person in church who everybody knows. She gonna tell it just like it is. She don't care what you thinking. She don't. I mean, and so I started, and everybody just started. They gravitated to her because they know her. So I created Miss Roni, and then within a year I'd done a movie. We just shot a movie of hers in January, and now she's a whole thing. I mean, it's kind of like Medea, right?
Yeah.
She's a whole industry of her own if I decide to do that. But that came about just from just playing around with people and watching people's response to some of the things that I was doing. But it's about putting yourself out there. Miss Roni's not for everybody, just like Medea's not for everybody. You're not for everybody. I'm not for, but you will find your audience if you put yourself out there. You won't find them if you don't do that.
If you don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what has been your biggest failure, if you see it in that way, right? Or something that you were planning to do and it really didn't go your way?
Oh, good question. Let's talk about the Olympics, because you have to understand, when you were in the USA national team system, there is a system. You start at the sports fest and you keep matriculating through the thing, and you pretty much know who's going to be on the Olympic team because these people have been in the system, right? And so for 4 or 5 years, I'm on the top USA national teams. Me, Teresa Edwards, Cam Etcher. I mean, like, you look at our pictures and people are like, what are who? Cynthia Cooper, Katrina McClain, and Donovan. Like, we were incredible. So that's really supposed to be the Olympic team. And candidly, what happened was the year that they were picking the Olympic team, we were in training camp, and a certain coach came to town and noticed that a player from her team was not on the was not going to make the Olympic team, and she influenced the decision. Like, so on one hand, good for you, come in and make sure your player got in. On the other hand, I'm looking at the coach who is coaching, like, you gonna let this happen? This is how this is gonna go. So I didn't make the Olympic team that year. I was the last person cut from the Olympic team. And when you plan my summer was planned. Right? So I'm like, I put all my stuff in my apartment, here my keys, take care of my stuff, all this stuff like that, because I'm going to Seoul, Korea. And then when that didn't happen, I literally, there was a month, like, I didn't even know what to do with myself because I wasn't supposed to be home. And you feel, so I don't know how you feel as an athlete, but there's a level of embarrassment that you feel. And I felt that way. I was like, I was supposed to. You said, I'm thinking about the coach, like, you put it in the paper. Fran Harris is the best player in training camp.
Wow. Behind
Teresa Edwards. You know who Teresa Edwards is?
Yes.
So, like, I'm sniffing on T.
Dang.
Like, yes.
How you go from best
exactly
to ultimate?
Exactly. Ooh. So So there's that, all the buildup and all that, and I was embarrassed, and I really didn't have anything to be embarrassed about, but that is how you feel. You feel exposed.
Yeah.
And I felt exposed. I was like, God, everybody's gonna be asking me why I didn't make it, and I know this is what everybody feels. Everybody feels when they do stuff and they kind of fall short. So that was probably the most public failure that I ever had. And when I think about what we're doing now, I know we're going to talk about the WNBA. Like I just did a lot of press and everything, and people were like, but what if you don't, somebody said, but what if you don't get the team? But what if the team doesn't come to Austin and you've done all this press? And I'm like, look at all this press I've done. Look at all this exposure I've gotten for Austin. That's how I look at it. So you got to tell the story in a different way.
Yeah.
But, and don't be afraid to feel how you feel when you perceive that you failed.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, no, I'm good. But no, I legit was depressed. I could not leave my condominium for a month because I wasn't supposed to be home. And so I had to work through my expectations of being on the Olympic team, my frustration with not being able to control all the things that get you where you want to go. You could be the best, you could play the best, you could have the best relationships, and you can still not make it. And that was a lesson that I learned that summer.
And you were 23 at that time? Nice.
And I quit, by the way. I wasn't just mad. I stopped playing basketball.
What?
Yes. Yeah, I quit. I said,
take us through this now.
Yeah. So
so you quit.
Yes,
Okay.
I legit
Was it right after? Like you got the
Absolutely.
cut, you were like, bump this.
Exactly. That is exactly what I did. That is exactly what I did. I was so mad and hurt and devastated that I was like, oh no, you won't get to do this to me again.
Yeah.
What you're not gonna do is break up with me again. So I'm gonna break up with you first. I can show you better than I can tell you. So that's what I did. I quit basketball and went to work for Procter & Gamble. Got in grad school at UT. I was a GA, a grad assistant at Texas for the women's basketball team. And I was like moving on. It's like a breakup. Like, out. Right? Like I'm not going to let you do this to me again. So here I am at 23. And they had told me when they cut me, like 92 is gonna be your year. Like this is how it works. Don't you know? You know how it works. You're in the system. This is not gonna. You're gonna make the next team. I said no. I literally said that to her. I said no. I'm not doing it. I'm done. So I got a job. Did all the things that athletes do when they retire, and and then maybe a few years later I started playing in a Hoop It Up. Like it's like when you break up. Yeah, Hoop It Up. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Those were some fun tournaments. I was like, you trying to get back in my life, basketball. You trying to holler at me again, basketball. So I started playing. Okay. And then next thing I know, the ABL starts. The American Basketball League starts, and it's a professional league that's going to be the precursor to the WNBA.
What year is that?
That was 96.
96.
The big year, the big year of the Olympics.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So the dream team traveled that year. Lisa Leslie, Dawn Staley, all those guys traveled and kind of laid the foundation for what professional sports became. So the ABL started. Most of them played in the American Basketball League. People called me, were like, hey, if you want to play basketball again, because I'm still young, I'm 30 at this point, 31. Okay. The WNBA is going to launch, the NBA is going to launch a league for women. I was like, really? And so that year, I called the WNBA the fall of 1996. They said the league was going to start in 1997. And they said, I called them. I said, hey, I was inquiring about the WNBA. And they said, well, Fran Harris, you played at Texas, right? Like, yeah, national championship team, right? I said, yeah. They said, oh, what's your interest? So they thought I wanted to coach or be a trainer because they're wondering, like, ain't you old? Like you 31? And I was like, I'm 31 years old. I'm not. This is not old, right? Yeah. But they hadn't seen me in a while because that's how it was then. We left to go overseas. Everybody was playing overseas. Coop, Cindy Brown, everybody was playing overseas. So I was like, okay, so I ain't gonna get no love from the WNBA. She said, what they're gonna do is try out in Houston in May. So I called the coach who had been named the coach of Houston Comets, which is Van Chancellor, which for you historians out there, we beat Van Chancellor's Ole Miss team in the regional finals to get to the Final Four. And that was the last time I had seen him.
Texas did.
Yeah, Texas did. So I called him. I was like, hey, coach, I hear you're having tryouts on Mother's Day in 97. He was like, Fran Harris. Yeah, I still ain't forgot what y'all did to us. And, he was like talking a lot of smack. And I was like, trying to be polite. Yeah, I mean, it was good. Y'all were good and all that stuff like that. He said, no, come on in. Don't come. It's a 2-day tryout. Don't come on Saturday. Just come on Sunday. And I'm like, is he telling me to come on Sunday because he thinks I'm really good and just skipping Saturday, or because he thinks she ain't good? You know, just whatever. Just I don't see that much of it. So we go there, 250 women in the gym, 250 in the gym, and we talking about fresh out of college. So it's like 21-year-olds, and then so I'm looking at them. I'm like, okay. I'm looking at them. They you know, like a kid, like a little playpen. Like they're just young. They're so young, and I was just like, okay, all right. Exactly. So Harris, get in there. Oop. He said, Harris, get in there. And there was a player there named Kim Perrott who also played at Houston, ended up being the point guard. Yeah. But there were 250 women, and we got those last 2 spots on that team. So there were only 2 spots. They had already named the other players.
They were only looking for 2 spots out of all them women.
Yeah.
Wow.
And me and Kim got the, yep.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
How did that feel?
That was one of my greatest joys, right? Coming from the bottom of the Olympics and giving love a try again. You know, it's like loving basketball, because it's like, you know, I know if I pick up this ball, I could get hurt again. Yeah. I could be, you know, whether it's injury or it's just like rejection. So I was like, yes, I knew love. I knew you wouldn't do it to me, love of basketball. I knew you loved me. I knew you loved me, baby. But that's how it felt. It was like the greatest high that I had in my life. That was incredible. Yeah.
Sounds amazing. So from 23 to 30, were you just working, or did you go play overseas?
I played overseas before the Olympics.
Okay.
To get ready for the Olympics.
Gotcha.
And then when I got cut, I was like, I ain't going back. They were like, Fran, nobody stops playing basketball at 23. Come get this money. Get back over here, right? And just play for like 20 more years. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I stopped playing basketball. And then when the WNBA, I heard they were starting in 96, I legit called a friend of mine. I was like, listen, I need an agent. This is the fall of 96. And they were like, well, so have you been playing? You have any tape of yourself? So I went on like a Christian, maybe like a Fellowship of Christian Athletes or some kind of thing like that tour. Me, Nikisha Henderson, and some other people. And I got tape because I needed tape to send to. And he said, there's a job in Switzerland and they liked you. So I sent it. And I signed, and I went to Switzerland like a few months before the WNBA season started.
How'd you like Switzerland?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Expensive.
What they speak? What language do they speak?
Oh, they speak German,
French?
French, Italian.
Oh, they speak
they do. Because they're so on the cusp of all those countries. They spoke all of that.
Okay. How was that getting around town if they speak in 4 different languages?
So you might go into a store and they'll be like, "How I'm like, okay, I speak Italian. Can you speak Italian? I can do that."
Okay.
And they speak English, right? Because it's important for them to speak English in those countries. So I didn't speak German. Sie sprechen Deutsch. I didn't speak German, and I didn't parler français, you know. But I did speak Italian from when I had played there before. Wow. And so I would just speak Italian there, and it was amazing. It was I had a good time. I played there 2 years, actually.
2 years, okay. How long did it take you to speak Italian? Was it the full 2? Or like?
So when I went to Italy, when I was just 22 years old, that season heading into the Olympics in '88, I started learning Italian because I didn't like not knowing what people were saying.
I know.
Right? I know. You go into the locker room, they're like, and then they kind of look at you, and I was like, you know what? Give me about 30 days. Give me about 30 days.
Look at these books. Y'all ain't gonna be talking about me for long.
I hired a translator. I hired a tutor. Her name was Alessandra. I love you, Allie. And she was working with him in my Italian. And this is so amazing. So one day I walked into the locker room, like in practice, and the Italians were in there, of course, smoking and about to take a shower.
Europeans, man. Like, how y'all do that? And we run. Right? I'm dying. I couldn't do it.
Oh, my God. I'm taking off my stuff, blah, blah, blah. And they're speaking Italian. And then I just jumped in. I just said, you know, and they were like, I said, and I just walked to the shower. Bet you won't be talking about me no more.
Say nothing no more. Got him.
Exactly. It was just like that too, and I just got up, grabbed my towel, and walked into the shower.
Good.
What you're not gonna do is talk about me in Italian today.
Yeah,
it was fun.
That's one of my biggest regrets is not
immersing
enough in like learning how to speak a language. I was only in a country like one season, so it wasn't there. But still, no excuse. I played 8 years. So it's like I should have learned. I still want to learn another language.
Yeah, great.
Talk about really quick. What do you think about the importance of for Americans to speak multiple languages, not just English?
Yeah,
especially in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, for sure. Like so, even when I was in Italy, all of the other Americans, they didn't want to do it. You know, they need to speak English. They need to, and I was like, yo, that is tired. That is so tired. Come on.
Yes.
We're in Italy. I mean, sis, we're one of the most romantic countries in the world. Like getting treated like queens. Speak the language. Well, they need to speak this. All I need to know is how to get my money. I'm like, okay, fine. But the lesson I learned was, even though my Italian was it was a little ratchet sometimes because you don't know how to conjugate stuff.
Yeah.
They appreciated the effort, and that's the business lesson is. People will appreciate the effort. I got sponsorships. I had a restaurant. I never paid for my food.
That's what I'm talking about.
Go shopping. I don't pay for my groceries. And it was because I was among the people.
Yeah.
I was being one of them.
Yeah.
And, in the meantime, some of my other friends in other cities in Italy were like, they wouldn't eat. They would complain about the food and, what is this and what is that? And they got treated that way. They were treated well because they played basketball. But outside of that, I never paid for anything ever.
Yeah.
So now when I get my salary, I'm getting all these other benefits, my car, my gas, my travel, my whatever, because I have said, I'm one of y'all.
Yeah.
I'm one of you, and I want to be a part of this family. And from a business standpoint, that's what we need to do with the people that we serve. That's honestly one of the reasons I created Sisteroni, because I think sometimes people see us as athletes, as podcasters, as whatever we are. I'm a television person, and they put you, like on a pedestal, and they think you're so different than them. And so I found that for me, the humor, what I did in Italy, which is like being just regular, really helps draw people to me, and therefore they want to be served at a higher level with me.
So athletes today, or professional basketball players, men and women overseas today, should kind of follow the same steps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Get in it. The assimilating, right?
Yeah. Get in the culture.
Get into the culture.
Yeah, get into the culture. Learn. Like I coached a team when I was there in Italy. I coached they called them minis, but that meant like the little league.
Yeah.
I coached a little basketball team. When I was in Switzerland, I did that, and I coached a men's pro team in Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
So I got into it. I really got into it because, when you spend a lot of your life there, you got 2 hours of basketball practice. That's pretty much it. And when you first get there, the first year that you're playing overseas, you don't know what to do with the other 20 hours of the day. You have no idea. You're just sitting in there watching TV.
Playing the game.
Playing the games, yes.
Man, we had so much time.
Yes, we had so much time. So I needed to, and at that time, it was my first time like literally being really far away from home. So it was hard. There was no internet. Like now they have internet, they got whatever. It's probably easier. But think about it. Calling my family was going to be a $500 affair. I mean, it was going to be a lot of money. I was only going to see them at the break. Like, it was tough being over there. So that was another reason, honestly, that I immersed myself in the culture, so that I could, get some of this loneliness that I felt, and just being away from I was homesick.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I had a stalker. You want to hear about my stalker?
Yeah, stalker in Italy. Let's go.
Listen, I had a stalker. So people, at the end of the game, people coming up, hey, Francesca, and you're signing, and they're signing stuff and all this stuff like that. And you try to be nice to people. You want to be kind to people. And so, I was like, okay. And people were like, Francesca, we should go have, whatever. So I went and had this like dolce with this woman, and
and
then
like a coffee.
Yeah, okay. No, it's a little like a sweet thing.
Sweet thing, okay.
It's happened with a guy and a gal, a guy and a girl. So I went and had this coffee with this woman, and she's, I just think you blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yeah. So I'm thinking that's it.
Yeah.
Like we cool. Like it was just a little friendship thing, whatever. She came to my apartment, knocking on the, ringing the little doorbell, whatever. And I'm like, child. Like,
right after
what?
the Dolce?
Yeah. Like,
Don't say what we got going on.
I said, who is it? And then she was like, so I was like, she was, just come down for a second. And I was like, I'm not coming down there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not coming down there. So I called my general manager. I'm like, this chick is outside my door. She blah, 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 blah. He sent somebody over there. Same thing next week. Same thing. Something happened with the guy. And I'm like, so now I'm coming down these stairs. You know, I need a gun.
Yeah.
That's how we do it at my place. Like, it was crazy. And it was even crazier because you're in another country.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't
it
know
was
what's happening.
wild. It was seriously wild. But she, you know, she got over it. He got over it, and they'd be at the games. Like,
Interesting.
I had to get security. I had to get security in Italy. It was nuts.
That's crazy.
Stalker in 1987.
1987 Stalker Edition. Italian Stalker Edition.
Ma che cazzo vuole da me? I did love
don't know what I
cussing
could
in.
do.
I love cussing in Italian. It was it's the facial expression and the hand thing.
Yeah. They talk a lot with their hands.
Yeah.
I
It
heard
was
that.
fun. And sometimes you don't even. Sometimes somebody do something and you just can just go, like, and that really means like this motherfucker.
Yeah. I love
No
it.
words needed. Just
That's cool.
yeah.
I didn't
It was
get to
fun.
play in Italy, but I've heard all the Americans that go over there, they love it.
Amazing.
They
Food
love it.
was
Yep.
amazing.
Oh man. Let's talk about Electra.
Okay.
And I want to talk about some WNBA stuff
Okay.
for sure.
Electra.
But Electra and in the Shark Tank, can't think of the show.
Yes.
But take us through that whole process of developing Electra, where that come from, and then the Shark Tank experience.
So I was I always start off by saying I was running a 5K. Okay. I was walking a 5K. I was walking a 5K. And you know how at the end of the race they give you the sponsors sports drink, right? They give you a little cup or they give you a bottle.
Yep.
And for some reason, now you know how much sports drinks we have consumed in our careers. Right, where you just take the bottle, you just turn it up, right? I had never really looked at the ingredients in sports drink.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, like, what is this?
Yeah.
So just something in my head, I called somebody. I said, listen, I need a consultant who's been in food and beverage, preferably beverage, because I want to know what they think about an all-natural, better-for-you sports drink targeted to women. Because, you know, those famous sports drink people ain't thought about women. Those are made for guys, right? So if you look at the bottle formation of Gatorade, it looks like a penis. Have you ever noticed that?
No.
You will not.
now I will not be able to
see.
forget now. Thank you.
Look at him. It looks like a penis. I'm not even kidding. So it's made for a guy. That was on purpose.
Yeah.
So I said, I need a sports drink, a hydration drink that's all natural, better for you, targeting women.
Cool.
With us in mind.
Yeah.
So somebody sent me this woman named Angela Hine, who's an advisor in my company now. And so we started talking about it. And then we did a survey of women, young women athletes and their mothers and athletes, maybe your age, 30-ish or whatever. And we asked them about what do you need in a sports drink? And they just told us. And so I was like, 200, 300 women and girls cannot be wrong.
Yeah.
They're like, we would drink it. We would try it. So I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go see, if we can do this. So this was 2019.
Yeah.
And got a formulator, just learned the beverage business. And in 2020, I went to shoot the episode of Shark Tank. I auditioned for Shark Tank. Thousands of people, of course, auditioned for that, 25, 30,000.
Where was that audition?
That audition happened to be on video because of the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So 2019, 2020, the audition was on video.
Okay.
And then I went to shoot that episode actually not shoot the episode. Shoot the episode in 2020 in Vegas in the heat of the pandemic, and there was nobody in the hotel in the Venetian except for us.
Okay.
So
dang.
the entire Venetian was empty with the exception of the production team and the people who were going to be shooting their episode of Shark Tank. So that was a tremendous experience because I just took an idea and like validated it through data, seeing, what was out there. Everything that was out there had been done for men, had crap in it or whatever. And I'm like,
so much stuff in there.
So much stuff in there. I'm like, there's got to be a market for this. But here's the thing about that. So Shark Tank It aired in 2021. Again, the pandemic got worse in 2021. So we got to launch it. So I'm doing the show. Imagine this. I'm doing Shark Tank. Got off of Shark Tank. The show aired on July 6, 2021. Thousands of orders. So let me tell y'all how this feels when you got thousands of orders coming through Shopify. It's like, if you have the sound turned on, it's like ding, 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 ding. It's like a cash register just all night, right? So I was like, oh, this is so good. Woke up the next day.
What?
Got a call from my co-packer, the people who mix your drinks and sell your, put your things on the production line, that the bottles, because it was a liquid at that time, the bottles were sitting in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean because it was a pandemic. And they were not going to get here. So they were going to sit there for 6 months, whatever.
Wow.
So
Just
here I
on
am,
a boat.
just on a boat, just sitting in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And I was like, so what you saying? So what you saying?
So what that mean?
What that mean exactly? So what you trying to say? Well, we're not going to be able to produce the product, to sell the product, to ship the product. So I got thousands of orders that can't be shipped.
How much was that?
Listen, so I went from elation to deflation, right? And so I'm like, well, when do they think they're going to arrive? And they're like, 6 weeks, which turned into like 4 months, right? They knew it when they were saying that. So I had a decision to make, and this is where a lot of the business comes in, is like, people were going to be very upset about their not getting their product. But it's not my fault, right? There's nothing I can do that bottles are sitting in the middle of the ocean. So I had to decide, and I didn't want to give back all that money.
No,
right?
You got to figure something out.
You got to figure something out. So I go, okay, let me think of what should I do? Okay, well, I'm just going to tell people the truth. So emailed everybody, because I obviously have everybody's email. I'm going to go live. I went live every Monday for like 3 months.
Okay.
And was like, here's what's happening. Here's the update. Here's where we are. I know this is not what you want to hear, but as soon as we get it, so that's what I did. I decided to not refund. I had a couple people who were like, I want my money. I don't care about that. But it was like less than 1%.
Yeah.
Because I found that if you will just be honest with people, they understand.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of a dang global pandemic. This is not my fault. This is not some mistake I made. It's just the way it is. And so I found that if you just will be honest and be real with people, they'll be reasonable. There will be those outliers, and there were those outliers. I mean, you better send me my money now. I don't care. Nasty. Yeah. Come on, it's $21, y'all. Stop. Stop acting like you bought a diamond ring, you know. But it's their $21, so we don't even question that. We just boom, because we would rather have happy customers than disgruntled ones. And so it's like, give them back their money, move on, get out of here, unsubscribe from my list, because I don't want the energy in here. Sure. So did that, and eventually got a chance to ship the product and start to give some feedback on it. So, but it literally, the supply chain issues became so much that in 2022-ish, maybe the second part of maybe fourth quarter of 2022, I was like, I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to force this. And so I stopped production. I'm like, I'm going to reformulate. I'm going to do all that. And that's what I did in 2023. So I sold a little bit. It was like the remainder, because it had a 2-year shelf life. Yep. And then I said, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to come back bigger and better with Electra, new formulation, new powder, whatever. And so that's what we're about to do now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was hard to do, because you have to silence what people are thinking. Oh, I mean, and people were nasty on social media, oh yeah, you all you do is win, because that's what I said on my Shark Tank episode. All you do is win. Well, are you winning now? People were just nasty, right?
Negative, yeah.
It's just negative. Well, are you even still in business? Blah blah blah. And that will kill some people. But if you've already conditioned yourself not to care what people think, I just kind of chuckled. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna win. And I'm gonna do it the way that I want to do. So we're relaunching in January.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting, and it is dope. It is good. I'm gonna give you some, and you're gonna have to do a little review on here.
We will.
We got some new flavors: watermelon sour, lemon cucumber, and they are delightful.
Okay, I'm excited.
Me too.
Excited. So Shark Tank, how did that turn out as far as getting equity or?
Yeah,
Getting
so
a deal with anybody?
So I did a deal on the show with Barbara.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
So little education for everybody. So it is a television show, you guys, right? So
Y'all ain't seen Shark Tank. It's got like 25 seasons.
Right.
I don't know what y'all been
It's
thinking.
25 It is a television show. But yeah, so we did a deal on the show, and then there's diligence after the show. So only about maybe 15 or 20% of the deals that you see on the show actually happen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Makes sense. WNBA.
WNBA.
What you working on, Fran? Trying to blow up Austin.
WNBA, yeah.
Trying to blow up Austin.
The W is expanding, thankfully. The W started out when I started playing with the Houston Comets. There were only 8 teams. Wow. And by the way, they picked us to finish 4th in the East. So Houston was actually in the Eastern Conference when the league first started. They picked us to pick 4th. They picked us to finish 4th, and we won Natty World Championship. Yeah, we won the ring. But then the W expanded really fast. Okay. Like went to 16 teams like overnight. And
the next year, second year, or what?
Yeah, like 4th, 5th, 6th year, something like that. I think. Okay. Yeah, they went hard. Okay. They went hard real fast, and nobody was showing up. Nobody was coming. It was the W didn't even really have a marketing team during those years.
Wow.
They just got a marketing team maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Really?
So yeah, so I know, right?
Why they be doing us like this?
No. So they everything started getting better. College basketball has gotten better and all that, and so W had an explosive season this year. Merch, attendance, all that, and so they're gonna. Golden State bought a team at $50 million last fall, and 2 other teams, Toronto and Portland, are adding expansion. So it's 12, 13, 14, 15, and then the W says that they are going to select a 16th team to start playing in either 27 or 28.
Okay.
And my group is putting a bid on the table to be that team.
Nice.
For Austin.
Let's go.
Austin for the W. You get it? Austin for the W.
For the W.
Yeah.
Why do you think Austin's a great place for a WNBA team, women's professional team?
Yeah, Austin's a great place for the WNBA because we are the only city on the list of applicants that has a ready-made audience of women's basketball. Like, meaning they're currently already watching. Yes. A lot of these other cities are saying we can get people there, and maybe they can. Maybe they can pull people out of the air and get them to come there. Sure. But we are the only city that actually has a community that's watching women's basketball right now.
Yeah, watching UT.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there are other cities that are wonderful. They're amazing. They have great corporate sponsorships. I mean, that's part of what needs to happen. But ultimately, you need cheeks in the seats. Yeah. And we have those. So that's why I think Austin is the most ready.
Cool. What do you think that, what kind of opportunity does that bring the Austin college girls or Texas girls that are from Texas that have played in different colleges? What kind of opportunity is that bringing for them?
Yeah, you know? Imagine when you played college basketball at Texas, if there had been a professional team like coming on the court after you guys got out of practice. Just think about, even though you played professionally anyway, but think about how differently you would have felt hitting the floor, knowing that the local scouts were watching you play, that WNBA teams were coming into the arena, that you were watching women, you were watching what you could be.
Yes.
It would have been so different for us. And so I believe that's what's going to happen with the environment and the culture, is that young girls are going to flock to Moody to see our WNBA team play, and it's just going to change their lives.
Yeah, I can see that. Like if I was back playing in practice in the Irwin Center and the pros were getting ready to come practice, or we get to see them finish their practice. Yeah, it's more of a reality. Like it is. Oh, that could be the next thing. Yeah. Versus going overseas. Right?
Yeah. I got a question for you. Yeah. Like, even though you played overseas, think about the fact that since there was no professional league, all the things you had to think about doing, like there was your counterparts who were playing with the men's team, they had aspirations of playing in the NBA and these other things, and your career was about to end. Do you remember that feeling or anything?
Like after graduating from UT?
Yeah.
I had a lot of anxiety for senior year. Yeah. Because I always wanted to be in the WNBA or when I was younger, just in the top league. I don't even know what it was, right?
Right.
And I had put a lot of pressure on myself to perform. I also had a lot of injuries. And so I kept hearing that, oh, 00 is injury prone, you know, and that shot me down. It shot my confidence, and I actually had an issue making free throws my senior year. I didn't want to get fouled. Wow. It was the craziest thing. Like, I had been a really good free throw shooter, very calm. I can go up there and nail them. But senior year,
wow,
that was where my anxiety was. I didn't want to. I was smaller. I played like 4, and I hated being under the basket. I did not want to get fouled. To go shoot these free throws. It was the weirdest thing. But I had a lot of anxiety because of what I was hearing. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it, but I wanted to so bad. I really didn't. I didn't really know that there was another next level of like playing overseas until you kind of get to the end of the year and you're hearing and thank God San Antonio was where they had the Final Four, and they have those
combines and all that.
So I signed up for a combine. I almost didn't know about it. I knew a couple of my other teammates had already signed up. I'm like, why didn't nobody tell me? I don't know what was going on, but I figured that part out, and I went down there and tried out, and I got one agent was like, hey, I'll help you, and I made my way to Portugal. Almost didn't even go to Portugal because I had a knee issue, and I was like, I don't even know if I want to go, but I said yes, and it turned into 8 years.
Wow.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle physically of a career, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
So free. So free over there.
I was lucky.
You be balling over there.
Balling.
Yeah.
Lucky to find, like, retirement was hard, but I was lucky to find right after college what I wanted to do and love to do. Because I feel like it's kind of reverse, where kids may graduate and they kind of like, what are you going to do? They're trying to figure their life out, and maybe for that 20 to 30 years, that decade, you're still trying to figure out career.
For sure.
I knew what I was doing what I wanted to do, and really didn't think about what was the next step. So that was a regret, but it was life. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But I think I'm so glad you're doing the work that you're doing and bringing that team to Austin. I know it's gonna happen if your name is on it, you touching it. I know it's gonna happen, and that's gonna be like amazing for these girls to see that. They see us playing, but then they get to also see the pros, and for us, it gives us another reality of like what we could take that our skills to be. Yeah. Even if it's not playing, maybe it's coaching. Exactly. Maybe it's being some part of operations of the WNBA or of another women's professional team, if they still want to stay in that type of industry. Yep. So that's awesome. Yep. Yeah. What else you got going on?
That's enough. I mean,
that's enough.
Raising $200 million is fun. Woo. And knowing that we are creating something that's going to really bolster the economy. Yeah. Young women and young men will get to see what they can become. They can aspire to be owners, coaches, trainers. I mean, the sky's the limit. Like, the sky's the limit. Don't just be the product on the floor. Figure out how to participate, how to truly be included economically, and that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Awesome. Are you into tech?
Very much so.
How so?
I actually have a SaaS. You familiar with SaaS? Standalone as software that I'm developing now called The Right Call. So it's going to be sports tech. Ooh. Yeah. It's about officiating.
Okay. Officiating. Okay. What else can we learn about it? That's it?
I mean, I'm going to be an accelerator for it, and I'll be looking for a co-founder. So if you know somebody who wants to participate and be a part of a sports tech accelerator, let me know. Because it was a graduate school project that I started when I was in McCombs. So it was like 6 years ago, and nobody wanted to pursue it, but I knew I would because it was sports. It's a sports tech thing. Basically, it allows you to go at the end of the game, log into your account, look at your calls, and see what your tendencies were. Like, when Ernie and Fran coach against each other, do you always call more technicals on? So it's a training, evaluating. Yeah. So leagues can buy it, conferences can buy it, and individual officials can be members.
That's awesome. It seems like a gap Because
is.
referees, umpires, the people that are running the games are always hated
Yeah.
and forgotten about when it comes to
Development.
development. Right?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yep. It's called the right call.
Yes. The right call. Please get the right call.
Exactly. Make the right call.
Make the
please.
right call. Okay. Let's finish out with this one. What type of advice would you give athletes that want to get into entrepreneurship to figure out what they're good at? How do they, figure out what their skills are, gifts are, aside from, hey, I play basketball, I play football, tennis.
Right.
How do you translate that to the real world or business?
Yeah.
For
I
themselves?
always tell people, if I could spend the day with you, I say, hey, I'm coming to Baltimore, or I'm coming to LA or whatever, Austin, and I get to spend a half a day with you, and we get to go do something that you love to do. You're not going to get paid for it, but it's something that you love to do. I guarantee you in that 4-hour window, we would figure out what you love. So you can't get paid for it. Is it painting? Is it speaking? Is it like we're just going to do everything you love in that 4 hours? Then that's how you know what you love.
Wow.
Because you're not going to be motivated by money because you're not getting paid to do it. So, maybe you and I would go somewhere walking downtown in Austin. Maybe you would start speaking, telling your story to an audience. Maybe, I don't know what you would do, but I've never found that anyone that I challenged with that scenario who didn't figure out what they love to do.
Wow. That's a good, I've never heard that. What would you do if you didn't obviously get paid for it?
Yep. And
we got 4 hours.
You got 4 hours.
You're taking somebody around.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good way to think about it. Fran. Who is Fran? Well, we learned that today. Awesome. Thank you so much for being
Good to be here.
Thank you so much for doing what you are doing and doing it for other people so that they can see themselves in you. Thank you for doing that for me, because I watch you and I'm like, damn, I want to be like Fran. I don't know what the heck she's doing, but you just exude confidence and success. And you just look like you're having fun in your career. And I want to follow those steps.
Great. Do it.
I know. Just do it. Okay. Well, Fran, anything you want to leave everybody?
Yeah, I would just say tap in at WNBAAustin.com to follow the journey of bringing a WNBA expansion team here, because it's about to be lit.
Yeah. Let's go. Stats to assets, y'all. Peace. I'm going to see you when I see you.
We'll be right back.